Welcome back to Beyond the Classroom. I'm your host, Lisa Harding, and today I have the joy of introducing you to someone very special on our coaching team here at the Teacher Career Transition Academy, Reba Gordon Matthews. Reba and I go way back. Before the Teacher Career Transition Academy even existed, our paths crossed in my former corporate role, and she was actually one of the very first people I ever had join me for professional development. And over the years, we've stayed connected, which just proves how powerful networking really is. Reba is one of those people who blends warmth with wisdom in a way that immediately puts you at ease. Our members absolutely love working with her, and it's not hard to see why. She brings decades of experience as an educator, professional development leader, and EdTech coach. But she also brings something you can't teach: genuine care, honesty, and the belief that every teacher is capable of growth. In today's conversation, you'll hear Reba's personal journey, why lifelong learning matters more than ever, how vulnerability plays a major role in career success, and practical advice about stepping confidently into the corporate world. Whether you're one of our Academy members who already knows and loves Reba, or you're listening in from the outside, you'll walk away with motivation, clarity, and a renewed sense of what's possible. This episode is a perfect chance for our Teacher Career Transition Academy members to get to know their coach on a deeper level. But it's also packed with practical and inspiring advice for any teacher navigating a career transition. Let's dive in. I'm Lisa Harding, ex-EdTech CEO turned certified teacher career coach. It wasn't all that long ago that I was recruiting, interviewing, and hiring teachers for roles in corporate America, teachers that ended up being some of my all-time best employees. Fast forward through my own career transition, where I left my role as CEO to become a stay-at-home mom. I now work with and empower teachers to transform their lives by turning their once distant career dreams into realities. In this podcast, I give you simple, actionable, step-by-step strategies to help you do the same. If you're a burnt-out teacher or simply need a change and you're looking to create a life you love, you're in the right place, friend. Let's get started. All right, let's welcome our guest, Reba Gordon Matthews.
Yes, I'm glad to be here.
Hi, Reba. I'm so excited to chat with you today. And I know our podcast audience and our Teacher Career Transition Academy members are going to love learning just more about you and your background and kind of like a personal story today. I know they learn a lot through you in the Academy, but today is more learning about you. So maybe, Reba, start off and just tell us a little bit about your background and where you are in your career now and what got you into career coaching.
Okay, well, my background started with preschool. I started with Head Start and then became a preschool director because I loved preschool so much at the time. As my children got older, I went into elementary, got a credential, and taught elementary for over 20 years. During my time in teaching with elementary, I got a chance to come out of the classroom, still at, my wonderful site, and I was the technology professional developer. And then I got a team together and I became a NASA Explorer School teacher. And with that outside classroom access, I was able to start doing professional developments, all the things I dreamed of doing with the teachers. And the good thing was I was getting a lot of positive feedback from my peers from my professional development. So I could continue with that so I had over 25 years. So I decided to leave teaching early. But I saw these new opportunities and I wanted to try them out. So you asked, how did I get into career coaching? People would come to me because I would get bored very easy because I'm ADHD, and I would use a lot of unique things in my classroom. So people would come over, how do you do that? And I would train them and they really appreciated it. So that kind of got me into it naturally. So that's what you're talking about, just the coaching, not into the teacher transition part, right?
Well, yeah. And then you're also, you're working with teacher transitions with us and kind of and you're still doing contract work as well.
Yes. So the teacher transition part was a little bit different because when I did leave, I did go into an EdTech company, a big company, and started coaching with them. And it came very natural. I learned some things, and I also had mentors. There was a young coach on there. She was young enough to be my daughter. She was old enough to be my friend, and she was smart enough to be my mentor. So we have to
Aw.
always remember we can still learn, even though we might be older than our coworkers. And so I was doing that. And then the pandemic hit and everybody got laid off. The schools closed, something that we never expected. Schools closed. So I was laid off too. So I'm looking at other things to do because, we're bored sitting at home. And people were asking me, how did you get into, because let me back up a little bit. A lot of teachers were leaving the field. They were exhausted because I would see them on the screen and I could just see their pain. And they started asking me questions. How did you get out? And I was sharing okay, I need to make some transitions now since things are closed down. I don't know what's going to happen when it opens up. And she gave us some things for a lead magnet. And I had a one-liner and I shot that one-liner in LinkedIn, telling teachers I could help them. And a flood of them came in my DMs. And so I opened up a free cohort of 25 teachers because I needed to know what they needed and how I was supposed to do this because I wasn't really ready. And that really catapulted me into teacher transitions. And so therefore I heard different stories. Everybody wasn't trying to go into education, but I heard everything. And it helped me sharpen my skills to work with teachers in transition. Because as you know, Lisa, everybody's not trying to go into EdTech. They're trying to do
Correct.
other things, instructional design. They want to go into the corporate space. And so it really, really helped me. And then people started to say, I'll pay you, And so that started, I did on my birthday last year, start my LLC.
I love your journey and I know it resonates and we love having you here as a coach at the Academy and our members love it too. So when it comes to your approach or your philosophy with career coaching in general, what are some things that you?
I got some notes on that because I wanted to make sure that I covered it. So my philosophy is more heartfelt based because I'm nurturing with respect, and I'm going to go into each of these because I feel it's important as coaches that we listen. And because everybody's coming with a different story, because people think teachers have all the same stories, but they don't. Everybody's coming with different where they're trying to go. The other thing is transparency. I am very transparent about my journey. And when I'm talking to them, I'm very transparent about where they can go. I'm very honest. And that's another thing they all said. And when I'm coaching, I'm like, am I being too hard? Honestly. And I'm being very transparent about my journey, my failures and the wins and what I've seen with other clients. So, and with my LLC, my vision statement, which means what my philosophy is, transforming educators through respectful solutions. I want to do it with respect. And I think that being nurturing and them coming to me and being respectful, I think I can help them in that transition because it's very different from really honest and straight. That journey can be a little challenging.
Yeah. And I resonate with that too. I feel like sometimes something I think about is, tough love,
Yes.
it's, and I kind of, now that I'm a parent, Reba, I have a new appreciation for what coaching and leading is like. And there's definitely a lot of parallels between coaching and trying to raise good little humans. I will say I find it easier to coach than to parent.
Yes.
Okay. So here at the Academy, you've done some on-demand coaching sessions with us, but you are actively leading small group coaching sessions with members. Can you tell us about maybe a recent topic that you did or maybe one you have coming up that stood out to you? Just tell us a little bit about what those discussions are like in a small group setting.
Well, the last one, which is probably one of the main ones that transitioning teachers are doing, which is they weren't afraid to show their resume. And probably because they've been in your academy, they've been talking about it. And plus my reputation with them, because I've been coaching with them and they know that I'm not judgmental in the wrong way. They know that I do give constructive criticism, but they were vulnerable. They were able to open it up. And the thing that they were learning is that the main thing was that their LinkedIn and their resume need to look the same, look very similar. And so they didn't understand that. And I was also letting them know about not having a teachery resume because we're so, I'm this wonderful teacher. I have the most, exciting way I teach. And I'm letting them know corporate's not looking for that. They want your teacher skills. They want your years. And they just learned so much about, the words they need to use, and they didn't realize how much they could put in their resume and how to change the wording. So the resume review one, I really felt it was valuable, and some of them sent me DMs afterwards, but all of them were good. But that one,
yeah,
I think.
I love the small groups because it's really a great chance to connect with our coaches. And I think I really like what you brought up about like the vulnerability. And when I think people often ask, like, what's the difference between your teachers that have good intentions of leaving the classroom and ones that actually do leave the classroom? And I usually say it's momentum and mindset. But now that you bring up vulnerability, when I think back to all of our graduates, I feel like the people that are most successful are also open to be vulnerable. So I love that you brought that up. So we have a lot of members and maybe folks that are just joining in on the podcast that might be a little intimidated to join a small group coaching because they've never been on one before and they don't know maybe what it's like and the value of showing up live to one of these sessions.
Well, the first thing is we always talk about we're lifelong learners. That has to be in its truest sense because you got to be open to learn. And if you show up, that's really important. A lot of the teachers that are like me on the other side of young, they were learning things about you're still valuable, but how we have to present ourselves. And just being open to listen, to have constructive criticism and the direction, like you said, leading people. And sometimes we as teachers, we've been in our own bubble for so many years and we're the ones controlling the whole environment. And now someone's telling us, you got to change a little bit. You got to, act a little differently. Corporate is not, we all need coaching and and everybody can use some professional development. So I've heard some of your workshops because I come in sometimes. I've learned some things too. And I've learned even to be a better presenter. Even though I've been doing it for a while, for 12 years, I can always learn. So I think that when they come in and they are vulnerable and they see everybody else that's there and they're hearing everybody, I've seen that the crowd's grown since then. Instead of just doing it on, asynchronously.
Here on this podcast would sugarcoat that, but of this journey, what's one mistake that you see career transitioning teachers make in their job search and any tips that you have for how they can avoid it?
Well, I'm just going to speak to it from the LinkedIn perspective, because that's where I see a lot of them, is that they forget it's a corporate space. They need to present themselves in a more professional, even though we teachers are professional, but a different professional setup. 100 jobs and no one picked me up. I try to tell them, if no one picked you up, 100 people, they don't want to pick you up. Say, well, why would they always want to charge me? And why they won't, connect to me? They'll send them or me their calendar. And I'm like, no, that's not the way to do it. So I teach them how to respectfully to connect. I tell them how to present themselves in a corporate way, how to organize their LinkedIn, what to put on there. So I see the mistake of the begging, and they should give teachers a chance and not to be political or, I know we want to, teachers, we share wonderful things in class, different steps in our lives, but the corporate space doesn't want to see a lot of that. And so once we can try to work on that, and I think they're learning, but I think that's one of the mistakes that they make, and the resume review was a big one, how to present themselves using.
Yeah, those are great tips. And as we grow, we're adding more and more services here at the Academy and just always making sure that we're meeting the teachers where they are, no matter what step. For folks that are on the podcast and maybe not members of the Academy yet, maybe they've considered coaching programs, joining the Academy, or reaching out to anyone to get coaching support through their career transition journey. Why, Reba, do you think coaching support is so important for career transitioners, especially educators?
It's important. I had to get a coach, and I keep telling them that because we've been in a space that has never really had to advertise ourselves. We never had to show people how well we were. We also were able to move about in the educational space because a principal saw that we had talent. You seem like you could be a good manager, but within the corporate space is a little bit different. You really have to show them and sell yourself that I can be a manager. So I'll give you more about it. One teacher says, I want to be a director of math, but it wasn't your space. It wasn't your expertise. So everybody needs a coach. We need to hear those things. We need to hear what it really is out there. You need to have somebody that's had that experience out there, just be open and listen and learn. There's not enough learning. Like I said, I continue to attend professional developments, but coaching definitely opens your eyes up, like you said, and seeing others that are out there and hearing those things that you just did not become aware of, and getting those strategies and that support, and practicing and practicing and practicing.
Yep. So as we kind of just wrap up our get to know you session here, I always like to end. Do you have a favorite mantra, quote, or just piece of encouragement for teachers in transition?
Well, I probably said it several times, but be a true to constructive criticism and direction, because we all can learn from professional development. So again, be a lifelong learner, and you will definitely move along the spectrum very easily.
I love that, Reba, and I probably could have guessed that was your mantra just from working with you over the years. And for our audience, a fun piece of advice, because I love talking about networking and connection. So Reba and I work together now here at the Teacher Career Transition Academy, but in my former job, before I left corporate America, that's actually where Reba and I met. So we have known each other quite some time, unbelievably, and great connections last, and great people just always seem to stay connected. So networking also very important. And I know we don't have time to jump into that, but if you're interested in how networking can propel your career transition, and not just the transition, but after your career, how it can just carry you forward.
You said that. You were my very first opportunity to start doing professional development in your previous life. And I want to thank you for that, because that was my very first time. And so I do appreciate that. And like you said, that networking with you has really supported me.
Yep. You just never know when you reach out to someone where something will go. So such a big believer in that. So thank you, Reba. I appreciate your time. I'm sure everyone enjoyed learning from you, and we will see you on a small group coaching session soon.
All righty. Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone. Have a great day.
What an incredible conversation with Coach Reba. I hope you loved getting to know her, not just as one of our Academy coaches, but as a thoughtful, honest, lifelong learner who brings so much heart to this work. If you're in the Teacher Career Transition Academy, be sure to check out Reba's small group coaching sessions and on-demand trainings. And if you're listening from the outside, this is just a small glimpse of the support and guidance waiting for you inside the Academy. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. It would mean the world if you left a review or shared this conversation with a friend or colleague who might need encouragement in their transition. Remember, friends, the journey is just the beginning. Embrace the adventure.